Right, due to ailments that are curtailing my other projects, we're going to have another quick look at some stuff at Beamish, just because there's some nice goings on really, and some very good vehicles and stuff like that. Here we are driving into Beamish in a bus, and a noisy bus to say the least, and it's an interesting way to go about things as a passing tram, because you get a real feel for the place. What I'm interested in is, things like this really dull shot gives you an idea that it is more than just a kind of mock-up. You know, it's in real countryside, real trees, all of that kind of thing. It's very interesting because it's built in a bowl, and you come in at the top end of the bowl, and or kind of half bowl, semicircle amphitheatre, and this is what you can see looking down as part of the pit village. It has a series of separate places, and there's more and more being added all the time. The pit village is kind of the core in some respects, because it's almost dead centre-ish, and at the bottom of the bowl, further up from there, is a Victorian town, mainly a street, but it's got a kind of park, a railway station, other bits and pieces, and it's surrounded by a loop of road, and much of that road has the facility for a tram, trams plural, and everything kind of comes off that, so you can wander for hours if not days, and trees and shrubbery and stuff are used to screen slightly, just to separate different areas partially. So wandering about is fantastic, and you get stuff. Here's the entrance to a drift mine at part of the pit village. Here's just some old bits and pieces that this went down into the drift mine, but there's stuff lying around naturally and spontaneously, and then things move around in it. There is the coal mine in the background, and there are various steam implements steaming away. And that's the pit itself, which looks fantastic on a late November morning. It is a place of atmosphere and sounds and smells, particularly near the Victorian chip shop. It's not just about all this stuff. Mrs. Meltdown is one of those people who reads every single sign in a museum and so on, whereas I move fast, have a look at, get a big overview, and then focus on the things that I like. So she has to go around everywhere and tick every box, whereas I would love to stay still. There they are, Mrs. Meltdown and Mini Meltdown. I would stay still for hours in one place and let the ambience soak in. This is the town from a balcony that leads to a very fine cafeteria, if not restaurant. The Victorian Street, full of stuff, and they have regular do's, which are things like steam galas and that kind of thing, or focus on tractors or whatever. So the place, already alive, comes alive with variety and spontaneity. Look at that beauty steaming away, if only the camera would focus. Anyway, here's a bit of the railway station, which is just at the other end of that Victorian town. And you get to go on things. There's also reenactments. Here's some people marching up and down.
One of the bunches pass on the right. Same as Corporal.
From light to column, left! Fifth!
And this is just a sense of the ambience. I was sitting there, didn't really realise what I was doing, just filming heat. And there's lots for children to do. What have you got? He's taking pictures. He's taking his dog for a walk and taking pictures. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's that noise? What's that noise?
Oh, that's a big wheel.
That's a big wheel. You're right. That's a big wheel. It's so the wagon can roll along. There's a 1950s street that's been added to one end of the Victorian town. It's also got a chip shop and a hairdresser's and a yard where you can roll hoops, which were obviously a big thing in the 50s because there wasn't much else. Mini Meltdown wanted all the hoops in the world. They also had go-karts. I haven't seen them lately. Wooden go-karts that, you know, you make at home, and you wouldn't get off them. Transport is his thing.
Yeah, got it. That's it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Oh.
And then there are a variety of food outlets, as I've mentioned, but there's a good Victorian cafe cum restaurant thing. And look at the expression on the lad's face. Somebody can't open the packet. I just tend to look away at times like that. My favourite bit is the 1700s into the early 1800s bit. This is some of it. Up the slope is a very fine sort of Lord of the Manor's house, which you just wouldn't believe. You have to go there. And then turning around from that view, you have this lovely, serene, empty space with an engine shed from the early 1800s, from which engines from the early 1800s appear and disappear, along with carriages, wagons and all sorts. Look at it. It is a fine piece of architecture and a fine piece of time travel. And then nothing would be complete without a man with steam coming out of his hat, would it? They really know how to make the day go with a whiz, with that expression that sums it all up, doesn't it? And finally, just a wonderful kind of overview from the mine on that cold November morning. Just look at all the track going this way and that. And the hills in the background. Great stuff. If you get a chance to go to Beamish, go. Thank you for watching. See you soon.